man, the myth, the legend. Pancho Villa, a man who defied armies, outwitted empires, and became unforgettable. March 1916. The deserts of northern Mexico. 10,000 soldiers crossed the borders, carrying the latest machine guns. Airplanes circled the sky for the first time in American warfare. All of it for one man. The revolution was tearing the country apart, and one name had become impossible to ignore. He was hunted by an army, branded a bandit. He became a legend. Long before the world knew the name Pancho Villa, he was Doroteo Arango, born in 1878 in the dust of Durango, Mexico. He grew up in a world of masters and servants. Under the dictator Porfirio Diaz, Mexico was modernizing. Railroads were being built. Foreign gold was pouring in. But that wealth only flowed one way: up. Millions of rural Mexicans lived in debt, working the land for survival, trapped in a cycle that felt like slavery. In that world, Doroteo was nobody, until he pulled a trigger. Legend says he shot a wealthy landowner who assaulted his sister. Whether it's entirely true or partly myth, what happened next is clear. He fled. He disappeared into the mountains and began the life of an outlaw. In the villages of northern Mexico, stories spread like wildfire. They said he robbed the haciendas. They said he shared food and cattle with the starving. They said he punished the bosses who thought they were gods. Some of it was propaganda. Some of it was true. All of it was powerful. To the peasants, he wasn't a criminal. He was a symbol, a Mexican Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood, he lived outside the law. Like Robin Hood, the poor sang his name. And like Robin Hood, the truth was far darker than the song. When the revolution erupted in 1910, he found a cause. He joined Francisco Madero to overthrow Diaz, and the bandit revealed his genius. He wasn't just a gunman, he was a tactician. He understood movement, speed, and terrain. He inspired loyalty so fierce it bordered on worship. He couldn't read strategy manuals, but he read the land and the people better than any general. His army, the Division of the North, became the most feared force in Mexico. At his peak, he commanded tens of thousands, seized cities, controlled railroads, and even minted his own currency. He was charismatic, theatrical, and he knew the power of image, allowing journalists and Hollywood crews to follow him into battle. But revolutions devour even their strongest children. Alliances fractured. Former friends became enemies. He clashed with rivals' cavalry charges that had once seemed unstoppable. They used trenches, barbed wire, and machine guns to destroy his army. The army was broken, but the man was not. In 1916, he made a decision that would shock the world. He crossed the border. He attacked Columbus, New Mexico. Americans were killed on U.S. soil. President Woodrow Wilson didn't just want him stopped, he wanted him erased. He ordered General John J. Pershing to lead 10,000 troops into Mexico, dead or alive. It was the largest U.S. military expedition before World War I. Trucks rolled across deserts. Scouts searched the mountains. Planes circled the sky. And they found nothing. For nearly a year, the ghost played a game of shadows. The desert was his shield. Villagers were his eyes. Every time the Americans thought they had him cornered, he was already 10 miles away. He didn't just evade capture. He humiliated a superpower. He became a ghost that armies could not touch. As the world drifted toward a far greater war in Europe, the hunt lost its urgency. By 1920, the fire had burned out. Troops were needed elsewhere. The expedition ended. Pancho remained free. He negotiated retirement, trading his guns for a hacienda. For 3 years, he lived quietly, raising cattle, watching the horizon, still a figure of awe for those who remembered his raids and victories. But legends are dangerous, even in retirement. So, what was he? To the U.S., a murderer who dared strike American soil. To his critics, a bloodthirsty warlord. He wasn't a fairy tale hero. He was violent. He was ruthless. He was a product of a broken, unequal system. And yet, he became a beacon of hope. A reminder that someone from the bottom could fight back against the top. Once a bandit, then a general, then a ghost the world could never quite catch. But to all, he is unforgettable. On July 20th, 1923, while driving through the streets of Parral, Chihuahua, shadows moved along the rooftops and alleyways. Suddenly, gunfire erupted, 40 bullets tearing through the air. The man who had outwitted armies and evaded capture for years slumped in his seat. The bandit who became a general and a ghost was dead at just 45. Officially, the killers were identified. Unofficially, many suspected political enemies seeking to silence a man whose name still stirred loyalty across Mexico. Even in death, his legend lived on. Across northern Mexico, his face stares down from murals. His name echoes in corridos sung in small towns, and streets, schools, and entire communities carry his memory. To some, he is still a hero, a symbol of defiance, of standing against injustice. To others, he remains a cautionary tale of violence and rebellion. But to all, the name still rides the wind, forever etched into history. But the legend? Still flying through the winds of time. Like, share, and subscribe for more history.